What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Friday night, 9 o'clock Central from the Forum. We got a show for you tonight. Preseason injuries are already coming at us. And what are we going to do? What moves are we going to make? High upside handcuffs. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Got a crew in the house. Fantasy Football Advice Network exclusive. Pumped to have y'all tonight. And last night, we got our first dose. We've been itching for it. We were ready. We got the Lions. We got the Chargers. We saw Marion Hampton. We got a little bit of Isaac Tesla. What do you guys think about that Hall of Fame game last night?
I'd be remiss if I wasn't the first one to speak on this, since now I am the biggest Tesla truther. But man, that was a game from him. And, I think you were saying it pre-show, Tyler, but, you got some people now clamoring that he's the next Puka Nacua.
Who knows? We'll see. Everybody that watched the show, I've been trying to tell you to go ahead and get them in your dynasty rosters. Hopefully you did. The guy's got hands. What can I say? Got a couple people in the chat. Let's go FFAN from Lion Light Worship. Kevin in the house. Let's go. Michael. Good evening, fellas. What's up? What's up, Meatball?
The Meatball. The guy.
Glad you're in the show tonight. Amber. What's up, degenerates? Meatball. Look, Chris. We got to see Marion Hampton take a couple carries last night. Everybody was wondering if he was gonna get a work. If we were going to see if there was any explosiveness. What were your thoughts? Were you impressed?
As impressed as you could be, I think. Limited touches. Very excited to see him. He's my RB2 of the class, like most people. I'm looking forward to him in the future. For me, it's more about just getting that taste of NFL football, letting football come back. The best part was the look on my wife's face when she's like, "What are you watching?" And she thought I was just looking at some, old highlights or something, as I'm prone to do. I'm like, "Football's back, baby," and she just the blood drained from her face. So
No.
Football is back.
I know exactly what you're saying. Okay, so last night I come home, my wife's like, "Hey, you want to hang out tonight? We want to finish watching Lord of the Rings: Return of the King." And I'm like, maybe. And then I was like slowly kind of make my way over to the TV and grab the remote. I go to YouTube TV and I pop it on, and she hears the NFL, the intro music, and she was like, "Football already? Ah!" And so, I checked out and started watching the game. I wanted to make sure I got the first half so I could see some of the players that we're hoping they're going to have immediate impact. And so, she handled the kids. She put them to bed, and she came down and she was like, "Just want you to know I love you." And I was like, "You're a great wife." I told her, I was like, "I appreciate you for supporting me and my addictions." But no, I was super pumped to watch a little football. Joe, was there anything in the game that just really popped off to you? I know there's been a lot of Trey Lance talk.
Sure. Okay. Trey Lance legacy game. Like, everybody that's been waiting for this moment, like, okay, congratulations. You went 13 for 20, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 3 times, got 8 yards. Like, he looked fine, but it's against backups. Like, it does nothing for me. Like, I guess he could be a suitable backup, but like, he's not going to get traded and become a starter anywhere. I thought what was interesting about Hampton is that a lot of people knocked Najee Harris for not getting up the field quickly. And the limited carries that we saw from Marion Hampton last night, he had a little bit of that Najee Harris east to west action for him. So I think he needs to get and realize that the game speed's a little bit quicker, get moving, and don't go so lateral, but get more north and south. To me, the star of the show that I was really excited about, there's not a lot of receiving options right now with the Chargers. We saw the news break today that Keenan Allen is touching up with his old friends, but I was really impressed with Keandre Lambert-Smith. I mean, he looked really solid. He had the touchdown, only a couple targets, but when he had the ball, he flashed. So to me, that was the big kind of eye popper for me.
Yeah, I loved it. Matthias in the chat, he got sacked by the idiot who fumbled the opening kickoff. That is true. That guy was like, he fumbled the opening kickoff, and I was like,
It was
that
a
guy's
butt
getting
fumble
cut.
too, man. Like, come on.
Yeah. It was like, he's getting cut, and then he got the sack, and I was like, well, maybe he's got a shot now. But killer game, fun. Amari and Hampton definitely, we got to see a little bit of flash. I will say, when he did run up the middle, he looked explosive. I think you're talking about that one outside run where he tried to beat the cornerback around the outside, and he got tackled, trying to do a Superman thing. And the announcers were even saying, it's like, hey, this is the NFL. Like, you got to get past that. You got to move forward. Got FF the Mad Dog in the chat. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe and drop your questions in the chat. Tonight, we're going to get into it, okay? We're going to start talking injuries. Already, they're adding up. Like, already we're seeing – I mean, if you're in San Francisco, you're starting to worry. Like, you're seeing injuries.
How is it every year, though? Like, what is in the water? Like, who are their trainers? Like, what is their diet? Like, this is just, like, every year.
Well, you've already got, we don't know when Ayuk's back. You got Juwan Jennings already battling some injury stuff. Ricky Pearsall is if here and then when. I think he's probably the best shot to actually play out of that wide receiver group. Then their four-string guy got injured. Like they're looking. It's looking like Kittle season is what it's looking like. It's looking like freaking George Kittle season. Chris, what's your thoughts, man? Is San Francisco, how are they getting? Are we going to see some Amari Cooper retire today? So he's not coming back to play for him.
I was just wondering about him. I didn't hear that news. You're telling me this for the first time. Yeah, I'm excited for Juwan Jennings and Kittle. I have been a pretty strong naysayer of Pearsall in general, just because even in a best case scenario where everybody's healthy, he's healthy. He's like the fourth or fifth guy in the options, because McCaffrey's going to get a ton of touches. Kittle's going to get a ton of touches. Juwan Jennings was awesome last year, and all the advanced stats prove that he's an actual good receiver. So just because it was a little later in his career doesn't make it not happen, right? So he's a very talented wide receiver, and he's already got a rapport with Purdy, who himself is very undervalued. So when you're looking at all these things added together, it's like, is Ricky really worth where he's going in ADP right now? And then you throw on the cherry on top that everybody seems to be hurt. It's just too much of a mess right now for me to get super excited about the Niners, other than taking a shot on McCaffrey and hoping, you're going to strike gold at where's he going? The front half of the second round or something right now. That's
he's slowly creeping into the first round. He could be going anywhere as like 106. And I love it. Yeah. Sign me up for Christian McCaffrey. You play to win the game. If he's healthy, he's going to win you a championship. Like, don't be soft. Be smart about your draft. If you're going to take McCaffrey, then you shouldn't take 5 receivers like early in your draft. Go just draft another guy. I'm all in on CMC this year. You can't live in your fears.
I never live in my fears. You see it. I've got the jersey back there. Christian McCaffrey, I've taken him in several leagues. I won last year taking Christian McCaffrey, even though he got hurt. So it can be done. You can recuperate, but the upside is so huge for him, especially in any kind of PPR format. They're already down receivers. He's going to catch the ball. You look at the highlights that are coming out in tape, and he's catching the ball. It's not his, I mean, you get a little bit of him running, but mostly you're getting him catching the football. So let's see, we got VHS Cardinal agreeing CMC for the win. Got the Rook saying fake news.
That is fake news. Yeah, that was a fake Adam Schefter tweet.
You got.
Hey, look, we're still not out. I mean, he's still not signed.
What's
I think
on with him?
It's like Amari Cooper is entered into that Zeke land, right? Where he's like, he's been effective for so long, and he can't accept that maybe there's just not a spot there for him, even though DJ Chark got signed by Atlanta. So maybe there's a shot for him. If there's a shot for DJ Chark, there's probably a shot for Amari Cooper, but we'll see. Right. So, kind of moving on from the Niners, the big thing, we talked about it last week and kind of what hit, and it's really curious what's going to happen. And so, Ben, I'm going to send this one over to you.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon already banged up. Joe Mixon already supposed to miss time into the season. They signed Nick Chubb. Everybody's wondering, can Nick Chubb do it coming off of a massive knee injury, his umpteenth knee injury in his career, or do we get some rookie, we get rookie Woody Marks? Do they sign somebody? What's your thoughts on the Texans? And, does this change maybe who you're targeting for that backfield at running back, or are you leaving them completely out?
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Joe Mixon at this point, just because the camp reports have not been great coming from D'Amico Ryans saying, basically he's healing, he's going about the process, really not kind of deflecting a lot of questions from the reporters at camp. And at this point, I think they had a reason for signing Nick Chubb, where they're kind of at the point that they did. And then, of course, they draft Woody Marks. I predict, honestly, that I think Mixon's probably going to start the season on the PUP, probably going to miss at least 4 games, in my opinion. And then at some point, kind of come back into a committee with Nick Chubb and Woody Marks.
I'm getting a little hate in the chat. Dynasty Dogs, how dare you leave out Dameon Pierce? Sorry, I left out the guy that is currently on the PUP, was placed on the PUP 9 days ago. Are we ever going to get, anything out of Dameon Pierce? Oh, the hype was so high. In Dynasty, I hope you traded him when he had that, first little run. That one's probably out the window too. But, it is interesting. I think you get one or the other. For me, I'm taking several late grabs, late possibilities on Chubb. I think Chubb's still an athlete. He's still in the freaking gym squatting 500 pounds. I think he can still ball. We'll see how fast he is, or how elusive he can be. But in that offense, I don't know that you necessarily need that. Joe Mixon is not the most elusive running back in the game. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't last year. You saw him, he ran slow, but he could still be effective. And so it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But the injuries keep piling up, and they talked about it last week. The quarterback room, Matt Stafford, already, kind of missing time with the back pain. And, Joe, what's your thoughts on that? Are you worried? Do you think he doesn't play? You think it's real? I mean, does it hurt Devontae Adams for you? Does it hurt Puka? I mean, what's your thoughts?
I'm not worried about this at all. This is really just a symptom of having to carry the city of Detroit for so many years. So it's just more of a load management thing. So he's an older player. He knows the offense. Yeah, it would be nice to get that rapport with Devontae Adams. But, I mean, from what we've seen in his career, if you throw it within the zip code, he's going to come down with it. They know the offense. They're still going to be able to get in sync without him there. I have no worries about him starting week 1. If you're going after Stafford, it's going to be very late, if at all. I think he's somebody that probably goes undrafted in like a 12-team, like standard league. He could be a solid pickup, like a priority week 1 waiver wire kind of guy. I like the upside there. I mean, we saw a couple years ago when they didn't have Wash Cooper Kupp, he had 40 plus touchdowns, which is what you're going to need in order to be a non-running quarterback to have like a top 5 season. So we know it can be done. But ultimately, I have no concerns with what the Rams are doing. That it's a well-oiled machine, and if they're going to give him time to get healthy, then so be it. And also, dude plays through anything. So come season, he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Stafford, Stafford's a gamer. Like he's going to play. He's not the type that wants to come out of the game. I'm with you. I'm not really worried about that. What I am a little worried about is my first round picks. So in redraft, especially, your round 1 is so important. You're getting your stud. You're getting the person that's going to carry your squad, right? And for years here, we've had JJ at the top, right? Like, you're getting Jamar Chase, you're getting JJ, you're trying to highlight one of these main guys. And already preseason, JJ's having some hammy issues. And, Ben, I know that you probably can speak to this a little bit more than most of us in the room, but hammies tend to linger, and they tend to easily be re-aggravated. And so you got JJ already dealing with a little bit of hammy issues. You've got JJ dealing with a sophomore quarterback, but really a rookie in essence that he hasn't really got much field time yet due to his injury last year and him coming off injury. So does that make you in redraft? Are you staying away from Justin Jefferson, or is he still, despite all of it, enough of a value to risk it, or are you passing on him?
I guess my issue is where he's getting taken in ADP is those first 4 picks, right? And at that point, you're taking the risk on an injury that he could re-aggravate that hamstring and flare it up. But just like Joe said earlier, when you're taking CMC, you're taking a shot, right? So I think if you really want to win leagues, you might have to look past a little bit of it with Justin Jefferson. He might be my first pick. I'd probably, be taking Jamar Chase, taking Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley where they're going. But probably at that 104 is where I feel a little bit safer with Justin Jefferson.
So if you got, let's go through quick redraft round 1, right? You've got Jamar Chase, you've got Bijan, you've got Gibbs, you've got CMC, you've got Barkley, then you start to get into wide receivers. You got CD, you got Amon-Ra, you got Malik Nabers, which Malik Nabers is also dealing an injury of his own. But, in that slew of players, when we start naming those players, all of a sudden, in my mind at least, it seems like JJ starts moving towards the back of the first round. You got Meatball in the chat saying, I took JJ at 7, and then a few hours later, I heard about his hamstring issue and could have had Lamb. Just bad luck. And that's so now, are you passing on JJ and you're just going Lamb? Or are you even going as far as an Amon-Ra or a BTJ or, somebody like that over him just on the sheer possibility that there could be issues. And then somebody like, BTJ finished at wide receiver 4 last year. Is there enough upside there to hence put him above somebody that could have an injury that lingers and may miss, let's see, 4 to 5 games this season?
Right. I think the other thing with Jefferson is just that he carries a stable floor, right? When he plays, he is wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 in the league. So, you have to take that risk. I think when you're talking about back end of the first, I think that's a great value for him. And at that point, I'm taking him over players like BTJ, Amon-Ra St. Brown, but not over the other guys.
Yeah, I think I have him at the 106. The players that I would take ahead of him, Jamar Chase, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, especially now with everything that's going on with Micah Parsons. That offense has no running game, and then they're going to have no defense. So the only thing that they're going to be able to do is throw the ball. When Dak is healthy, CD goes crazy. So to me, it's I am a known McCarthy hater, but I do love Kevin O'Connell. And if you look at what they did with random people off the street, what they did with Sam Darnold last year, they're a top 5 passing touchdown offense, consistently. And if they traded up to get this guy, then that's enough of a vote of confidence for me to not fade Justin Jefferson. People faded him last year, and it was unnecessary. He is probably the best pure receiver in the league. Stats aside, quarterback aside, he's number 1. So for me, it's I'm not going to let him fall over someone like a Amon-Ra, Puka, Malik Nabers. They're great, but I still think that he's a player that can elevate, and that consistency is huge too.
Dev giving you a little hate. Boo, Joe. Just boo. Look, this is part of the game, right? You've got to take your guys. You got to follow your narratives. And if you're worried, for me, I don't have any JJ shares this year. I have passed on them, not intentionally. I just have gone running back heavy in the first half of the draft, drafting, or if I'm in the later half of the draft, I've been targeting CMC, and JJ hasn't been there. So it'll be interesting to see how it continues to play out. Got a little bit of conversation. Nabers, why didn't Nabers get off-season surgery on his foot? Obviously,
surgery hurts, man.
Yeah, obviously we don't know the answers to that. We can never, answer those questions.
Not every injury needs surgery.
But yeah, and that's probably it, Ben. So I mean, for you, knowing the narrative that's kind of clouding him, Russell Wilson has been announced as starting quarterback in that offense, which has been good. According to camp, it's been great. Like the chemistry, the poise, the deep balls. Like he's still got the moon ball, and everybody
Never heard that before about Russell Wilson.
Yeah. So let me, what's your thoughts on Malik Nabers? I say that because in recent especially, Malik Nabers has fallen as far as middle of the second round. For somebody who has crazy upside. What's your thoughts? Are you staying away from him, or are you grabbing that value?
I guess to clarify a little bit of like the injury issue is it's not his ankle or foot. It's not even the toe that's really been bothering him since college. It's his shoulder that he ended up hurting in practice. So, I think it's a little bit shorter term. I'm not worried about Nabers in redraft or in dynasty. And honestly, I think Russell Wilson can support Malik Nabers and give him the targets that he needs.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I like it. I've taken Russell Wilson deep, and we had an actual question on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network social media platform, and the guy was saying, do I need to target one of these top 3, top 4 quarterbacks because the kind of mid-tier drop off, or do I need to even reach up for like a Baker in the 6th round or something like that? And my answer to him was, no, I don't mind if it punting quarterback this year and taking somebody later. And I've even gotten shares of Russell Wilson to back up, let's say, around 13, 14 pick on like Trevor Lawrence, right? So, I don't hate that pairing there. It seems like they're very committed to him, and that they're trying to let Dart develop. He's making some mistakes and stuff in camp, so we'll see. Let's see here. Got some more people in the chat. Make sure I hit this. Meatball says in redraft PPR 12-10 league, I took Gibbs at the 1-5. JJ was there to draft. What would you guys have done?
I love this question because Gibbs is my 101 in redraft. I love Gibbs. I'm taking him every single time at 105 if he's there. I think he's got a phenomenal ceiling this year. I think with a new offensive coordinator, of course, he's part of the same system essentially. But, I know Ben and I have had our beef about David Montgomery in the past. I just don't see a world where they continue to give him as many touches as he's had, which means if he's siphoning even 5-10% of the touches off of Montgomery compared to years past, he's got an absolutely phenomenal ceiling, like levels that we saw out of maybe Saquon last year. So Gibbs for me is a bulletproof first half of the redraft pick.
Yeah, I like the first half of the redraft pick. 101 is a little bit steep for me, but I respect I think I appreciate when people are willing to just say like, hey, this is my guy, and like I'm not gonna try to like maneuver around the draft to kind of optimize. It's like, all right, if he's there, I'm taking it. I'm currently having that battle with Christian McCaffrey right now of like how high I can take him, and every week I feel like it's creeping up a little bit. But yeah, I think Gibbs is like right around like that. Probably 105 for me, 104, 105.
Love it. Got big draft energy in the chat. My guy Disco 1 week away from seeing Mr. Moo Moo and the Whiskey Dude in Canton. That's right, guys. We will be next week in Canton, Ohio at the Fantasy Football Expo. Hanging out with Disco. Make sure you go check out his channel. Big Draft Energy does great stuff. Best ball guru.
Can we just talk about the fact that he has done 600 best ball drafts this offseason already? I've done 5.
600
there 600 paid drafts. This dude's out here grinding.
Yeah,
on streams every day. Like, props to that dude. He's killing it.
But he corrected you. It's 603. The reality is there's Disco, and then there's everybody else. And everybody else is considered part-time when you consider Disco and best ball. Got Binking in the chat. Giving Big Draft Energy a little love. Let's see. And Thank you, Chris. You're now my favorite from Meatball. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Meatball.
What more could you want?
I love the Gibbs take, so kind of continuing to move through these injuries. I think a lot of hearts got broken last week when Isaiah Likely goes down and because it was a lot of people, like if you look at, D-Bro from Fantasy Pros, he's been pumping Likely, like huge season for Likely. Like there's been a lot of people that have been really behind him to kind of supplant Mark Andrews as more of the receiving tight end in that group. And then he goes down. Obviously Mark Andrews ADP rises, but does that mean, what's the tight end move there? And then not only do you have the Ravens, then you have the Bills conundrum, right? You got Dawson Knox missing time. You got Dalton Kincaid dealing with knee soreness. What do we do from here at tight end? What's your thoughts, Chris?
I think that the Likely thing isn't a big issue long term, although I'm going to have to defer to Ben on injuries. I think when you have an opportunity like this where a guy is like maybe possibly going to miss week 1, that's just going to cause an ADP dip. That means that you can get him a little bit easier, which is a great thing. However, on the year, even prior to this injury, I don't like this because it's going to rise Mark Andrews' ADP a little bit. And I think he's been a stellar target where he's been going. Because when you look at how he finished the season, I know he had kind of a perceived bad year last year and, some of the playoff issues and yada, yada, yada. But he scored basically a touchdown in every game the second half of the year. So he's a guy who we have a known connection with an MVP. And he's now got an opportunity to take even more of those touches, especially early in the year from the tight end position. And he's most of their passing game, right? He's got to be the number one target. He's been the number one target in Baltimore for years. So I'm still hammering the heck out of Mark Andrews at that range. Otherwise, once it gets past Mark, I'm typically just like punting on tight end. Tight end is just such a weird position, man. If you're not grabbing one of the top 3 or 4 guys, you got to take your shots, but I'm happy to just let it ride and maybe pick guys up off of waivers during the season.
Well, he's definitely getting some love in the chat. You got Dynasty is my life. He's Lamar's most reliable red zone threat outside of Henry. I think that shifts a little bit this year with the addition of D-Hop, who has been one of my late grab, put my stamp in the ground, whatever you want to call it. Lamar has not really had a go up and get it receiver. They can go get it in the corner. They can catch the big pass like over somebody. And now he has that. And I think that makes him maybe lean a little bit off Andrews as much in the red zone. So, to me, I still want him because Lamar's going to throw it to him. Like that's the reality. Lamar's going to throw him the football. And so I still want him, but I do think that D-Hop kind of eats in a little bit into his touchdown regiment going into this season.
I don't know, man. Everybody is forgetting the fact that Mark Andrews got into a car wreck like the day before the first game. Like he is the best value in where he's going in drafts right now. And I don't care what Isaiah Likely can do. I don't care what his speed rating is on Madden. Like that offense still runs through the run game and then it runs through Mark Andrews. I'm not worried about no D-Hop. People are going to overdraft Zay Flowers for the 100th year in a row. But Mark Andrews had 15 red zone targets last year and he caught 13 of them. And it's like, even if he gets that eaten into by Hopkins a little bit, that was still 8th in the league. So it's like he has a role where it's with tight ends, unless you're in like a tight end premium league and it's like, oh, like you want to like go after somebody that gets receptions. Like scoring touchdowns is the easiest way to get points from your tight end, and he's going to do it. Like Isaiah Likely is just like a hopium thing that people are getting all charged up about so they can be the first person that was talking about it. He had that game that last week 1, he had that big game, 3 touchdowns, like, oh, Mark Andrews sucks now. And it was like, what did he do the rest of the season? Nothing. So give me Mark Andrews all day.
I ended up looking into it a little bit deeper. So it's going to be a 6-week recovery for Isaiah Likely. He did have surgery to repair. I believe looking back, it was he rolled his ankle and had to have surgery to repair. torn ligament. So he'll be back in 6 weeks, but that's kind of putting him out of training camp and starting very slow in the offense. So I kind of like Andrews there as well, Joe. But
love it. So being said, the expo must be some secret society stuff, huh? Laugh out loud. No, let me tell you, the Fantasy Football Expo is a killer event. It happens in Canton, Ohio every year. And, it's put on by Bob Lung and crew over there. I mean, it's drafting, parties, hanging out, analysts, content creators, fans. Just like if you needed, it's like, if you needed a weekend out, like it is a killer time. I'm actually, they have last minute tickets still available for that. I'm going to play a quick video, support the Fantasy Football Expo. Make sure you go check it out, thefantasyfootballexpo.com. You can still sign up. I'll be there. Joe will be there. Chris will be there. Ben will be there. And, Big Draft Energy will also be there. That's in the chat. So make sure you check that out. Here's that video. It's a good time. If you don't have any plans next weekend, August 8th through the 10th, be there. It's going to be a good time. Got some people in the chat. Amber, I cannot wait until everyone knows about the expo. It's going to be a good time. Diane said looking to tear up from Herbie to Burrow right now for that quarterback deal. Let's see here. Make sure I hit everybody in the chat. All right, so moving on kind of from injuries, like obviously there's still more stuff that's going down. There's still, more injuries that are happening daily and we don't know how it's going to recoup. But obviously that changes kind of the narrative with our drafts, especially as you get into the later half of these drafts where you're targeting potential big upside players, right? You want to get somebody that has a high possibility of getting meaningful touches, right? Meaningful receptions that have the opportunity to work themselves significantly into the lineup. And, so you want to try to target one of those guys. And, for example, and I'll just kind of throw this out there. This week, Zach Moss was released from the Bengals, right? And so you got Chase Brown and then who?
Taj Brooks.
Taj Brooks, right? You got Taj Brooks in that offense, and really that's it. So like for me, Chase Brown got a ton of touches last year, big workload. Can he handle that again? Does he get banged up? Does he get injured? And then if or when he does, who's the guy? And so Joe, I'll roll it over to you since you knew the name right off cuff. It's if you're in the end of your draft and you need to take a flyer on somebody, you want to grab a handcuff that you think, like people are taking Trey Benson, expecting James Conner to get hurt, right? Are you trying to lock in Taj Brooks on your redraft roster?
I like Taj Brooks a lot. If you look what he did at Texas Tech, it was pretty impressive, right? So he was the all-time leading rusher in Texas Tech history. Save that 5 times fast. 4th all-time in Big 12. So like this dude's putting up big numbers. I think if it's a different running back class, he probably goes up the board a bit in the drafts this year, but it kind of felt like a game of chicken. I mean, even looking back, like in the combine process, like you look at the names that people were really excited about, the Taj Brooks, the Devin Neals, all of these guys that people were really charged up about going 5th, 6th, 7th round. Players that are undrafted in the 7th round are already seeing first like team reps in practice. Like that's unheard of. Like this class is super deep. I think the misconception that a lot of people get into with fantasy on their bench is, let me just grab like this guy who can maybe get me a couple of points. It's like, like if I need a bye week fill in, like that guy can get me 8. Like, you can always find someone on the waiver wire to get you 8 points. Like, that's not impressive, but you're going to win the league by having the guy that shows up like Chase Brown last year that says, hey, like, I come out of nowhere and I'm a top 12 running back. And that's where you want to be. And if you have those guys on your bench before they break out, that's going to do a lot more for you than saying like, oh, like, I don't even know, like, who would be somebody that feels like a waste of time for me right now? Rashid Shaheed, like, is he going to do this again with Spencer Rattler? Probably not. Like, I just don't see it. Is Rashad Bateman, who's going in the 12th round, is he going to really do anything? Like, he'll have games that he scores touchdowns, but Lamar isn't going to pepper him with targets. So give me the upside guy. If the upside guy doesn't pan out, go find a different upside guy that you feel more passionate about. So I love the idea of going after somebody like Taj Brooks. I think he does have a way to carve himself out just because how good he is. And I don't think that they want Chase Brown, even if he could handle all the work, to handle all the work, because they have aspirations that are more than just the regular season.
I agree. I mean, he is definitely a late round grab for me, especially if I'm in like more of like if I'm in a redraft league that's got like 18 picks, 19 picks, 22 picks, like the Scott Fish Bowl. I'm definitely targeting him. You got Meatball in the house saying I just took my late round flyer, 19th on Alec Pierce. I've seen a lot of comments about different Colts receivers. But I'm going to throw it over to Chris. Chris, you had somebody that you're targeting towards the end of that draft or the end of your drafts. Who's that?
If you'll cede the floor for a minute, so I could go on a bit of a rant.
It's yours.
My hate for Kyren is very well known and very well documented. In fact, just today in Ben's Discord, Dynasty Gambit, I put up a big write-up about why I don't like Kyren. There's many reasons why I don't like Kyren, and I did like him last year, but there's a lot of evidence that's supporting that. With a guy that's seen over 200 or over 600 touches the last 2 years, there's a high likelihood that his production will fall off, even if he's still the RB1 in the McVay offense. But when you look at it historically, McVay prefers a workhorse, and they've also tried for the last 2 seasons now, 2 off seasons, to find a guy who can take some of that pressure off of Kyren. And they found a perfectly good one in Jarquez Hunter, who is one of my favorite backs coming out of this rookie class. I'm shocked that he is going as late as he is, given the opportunity that's in front of him. Let's look at his stats here. So we got a little bit fun analytics on him and some fun other little quirks about him too. Jarquez Hunter was the second best of this running back class in career explosive run rate at 18.9%. He was also the second best in a breakaway run at 10.2%. He was fourth among 31 running backs in this class in yards per carry. He was fourth in missed tackles forced per attempt. He was fourth in yards after contact per attempt. This is a really good running back that I feel like is flying under a lot of people's radars because he didn't get that flashy high-end draft capital. And knowing what we know about Kyren and how he's inefficient, how he's not really bringing anything to the table other than a ton of touches, and now he's got a little bit of a fumbling issue too. I think at the very least, they're going to start to dial it back to where Jarquez is getting a ton of touches, if not the majority of touches by the end of the year, because we know that McVay wants his guys to get 75% or more of the touches. So from the moment that Jarquez, aka Baby Jark, as I call him, is going to be getting RB1 status in Los Angeles, he's going to be an absolute league winner smash. I have a shockingly high amount of Jarquez Hunter in all formats, and I'm going to be grabbing him everywhere I can in redraft this year.
I love it. I haven't taken any Jarquez Hunter, but I love the stats. I like the provisions. Binking in the chat, Kyren ain't no slouch. Good luck taking that man's job. I don't think the argument is necessarily that he takes his job. I think it's that Kyren has had a significant amount of touches, and you all hear about the curse of 300 and everything else. And 2 years in a row, tons of touches. We could see injury. We could. And in that case, if you see injury, where do they turn? Like, where does LA go at the running back position? And so, in this thing where we're talking about, when you talk about your 16th, 17th, 18th pick in your draft, we're talking about guys that you're not leaning on, right? These are not guys that you're putting in your starting lineup day one, and it's a different route people take, right? So some people go in and they try to take guys that they think are going to provide meaningful mid-tier production. Like, they're looking for a receiver that's going to be mid-tier all season, may have a couple spike weeks. They're looking for these type of players. And then on the other side of it, there's people that go, okay, I got my starting lineup. I got my couple backups that I need. Now I'm targeting like people that I think second half of the season or later will have huge years, whether it's based on injury, whether it's based on, them overtaking and getting touches, everything. Like, that's your conversation. And so I understand the narrative that you're saying, Chris, and like, I would rather, instead of taking, somebody like a Quentin Johnson or somebody late, a deep round flyer on somebody, I would rather take a Jarquez Hunter in the chance that he gets that opportunity, because if he does, there. And, Meatballs in the chat.
He'll be a league winner. Yeah.
Yeah, why did the Rams draft Corum last year?
Well, that's easy question. It's because Corum isn't very good. I forgot my non-stat fun facts. Jarquez Hunter squats over 600 pounds. He can jump out of a swimming pool, and he can dunk in cowboy boots. Love this guy. Just draft this guy. He's fun. He's going to win you a league.
So, okay, I want to go over to Ben. Ben, who is your guy that you're like trying to grab? Your Jarquez Hunter, your Taj Brooks, and it seems like we're living in running back land, and maybe that's because running backs tend to have the most injuries. I'm curious if you then go on to another running back or we get a different position, but who's your guy that you're grabbing?
Oh, I'm staying running back, and there's been a lot of steam in the last couple of weeks for this guy all over Camp News. And actually, Chris, I traded Jarquez Hunter straight up for this guy in Dynasty, Ja'Cory Crosky-Barrett. And I am very excited. He is going to be the guy who, when you take him in the 15th or 16th round, and that running back room is wide open on a playoff team with Jaden Daniels standing next to you, give me JCM all day.
Oh, so you got Eckler, you got Brian Robinson Jr. Why can't they do it? Like, what makes JCM the electric player that's going to surpass them? Or are you like leaning into the injury dynamic? Like, where does the narrative kind of grab for you?
Maybe it's the hopium behind Brian Robinson just getting pushed to the side. Like,
there's that hopium
I think
again. Never heard this word before, but it's presented itself twice on tonight's show. Bring on the hopium.
It tastes so good, bro. Hopium is delicious. It does. And it's legal everywhere.
Got Goyati in the chat. Oh, baby, JCM, excited about it.
Maybe I'm just the dynasty head. I think that's where it comes down to, man. We're talking redraft right now, and it's hard for me to change out of that dynasty landscape.
Look, it's okay. There's a world out here for dynasty too. It's just the reality is there's a lot of people trying to win this year, and whether it be redraft, dynasty, sure, but like in this year, does JCM get you over the hump at the end of the season? And if you're saying that, yeah, we're going to look at a beat up Brian Robinson Jr., or we're going to look at a beat up Eckler, then yeah, there's a narrative there for that to happen. And, you got Meatball on your side in the chat saying JCM is a still deep stash. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about people that you want to grab, you want to put in your back pocket for the second half of the season and watch them do their thing.
I'm also looking in the chat here, and I'm seeing a little bit of love for JCM. He had a breakout year at New Mexico before, and as Godiati points it out, like he lost the year of eligibility when he transferred to Arizona and didn't get a chance to showcase what he could do. And then at East West Shrine Bowl, then was able to show everybody, okay, he could probably actually be relevant in the NFL.
Look, I'm here for it. I will tell you this in Dynasty now. I'm wondering if I need to go trade my Brian Robinson Jr. shares if I haven't already, which I actually have a trade on the table. In a 1 quarterback league, I've been offered Lamar Jackson for now. My current starter is Kyler Murray, so I'm not sure it's enough of an upgrade, but Lamar Jackson for Brian Robinson Jr. and Emeka Egbuka, and I just cannot pull the trigger on it yet. I'm sorry.
Do it.
So tough, and mostly because I think Egbuka is going to be good.
But your team is so good. You don't need him.
Oh, but he's so good. Okay, anyways, Joe, let us know who is going to help me win my redraft league this year.
Okay, before I say this, I would like you to give a quick shout-out rundown of the Napkin Bowl, since I saw Goyati in the chat, just like to talk about that really quick, because I think it's a really cool thing that he's doing, and I think it's something that's worth talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Goyati, if you would put that link in the chat for us. So if you're around, we are helping host, Goyati is hosting with the Fantasy Sports Advice Network, the Napkin this year, which is a charity tournament, 100 leagues, 1,200 players, all to support Mission 22, which is a veterans organization, support, veterans and their families. We're always about giving back on the show. We're about giving back as a company at the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. And so this is a little bit of our way to do it. And it's killer. He's put together an incredible tournament. He has weekly, awards for top scorers. We do have an overall champion with a very intricate prize for first place. And again, who doesn't love supporting an incredible organization like Mission 22? So if you haven't, go to Fantasy Sports Advice Network and click on, you'll see a link at the top saying join the Napkin. Make sure you check that out. I'll put the link in the comments after the show. Or message Goyati directly, message me directly. If you haven't, we will get you in. It's a killer tournament. I'm not sure how many leagues are full, but I know I've already joined and my league has completed our draft. The drafts start once they fill, and it's interesting. It's big scoring. Really big scoring. He calls it the home of the 50 burger. So if you're ready for a big play tournament, lots of points, exciting, to support a great cause, Mission 22, supporting veterans and their families, go join the Napkin. Go to fsan.com and you'll see, just go on the football tab. You'll see the Napkin tournament, or you'll see it at the top of the page. Go join. And then go Yachty on Sleeper if you want to message him. Obviously looking to fill that tournament. So, Joe, hit us with your guy.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I put you on the spot for that, because I never would have done that as good a justice. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome time. Okay, so I just have a question for you guys. I have a question for the chat. Who do you think are the top 3 offenses in the league, going into this season, just from a scoring perspective?
I think Baltimore's in there.
Okay.
Bengals.
Okay. All right. Well, we've already hit the team that I want to talk about, the Baltimore Ravens. We all know that there's a lot of controversy. People say that kickers aren't people. You shouldn't have kickers in fantasy football, all this and that. But we all have those friends in our league. When you have a kicker, they fill out their starting lineup. Round 7, historically, what do? They'd go out and get Justin Tucker, right? We fast forward to 2025. It's a new sheriff in town. Justin Tucker released after the draft this offseason. You're telling me that the team that led the league in yards last season, that is going to probably be in the top 3 again this season, that their kicker is going to be the 11th kicker taken off the board because he's a rookie? There's no chance. If you can have your leagues go and say, hey, I'm going to go take Kyron Santos, all these other people, and you have Tyler Loop just sitting there for the Ravens. You guys laugh all you want, but I'm going to take a player that's tied to a top offense every single time. So let it happen.
At Tyler's reaction, but I didn't
I
expect
know that y'all are going to be haters, but this dude is already on point. He's already hit a 68-yarder in practice. He's already been on record in college to hit a 62-yarder. You want to talk about ways that you can win leagues? That's fine. Put the bag over your face. But when you're drafting somebody from the Lions in round 10 and I can get a guy who's going to put up more points 10 rounds later, hit me with it. I don't care.
Don't hate on Jake Bates.
Bro, Bro, look, hold on a second. Are you really busting out kicker sleepers?
I'm busting out kicker sleepers, man. Kickers are people too.
Okay, well, if you love kickers, we have a shirt in our shop, fsan.shop, that says kickers are fantasy players too. So you can join Joe in that. Bro, in 10-team, 12-team league, defense, kicker, I'm streaming defenses. Kicker, I'm taking probably one of the last 2 rounds. I'm not worried about it.
And you can get them. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can get them. You can get any. You can get.
So do it. Last 2 rounds. That's what we're talking about. You don't have to go up and get Jake Elliott. You don't have to go up and get Chris Boswell.
You don't have to get anybody. You can pick one up on waivers before the start of the season, and you're gonna be okay.
People don't get down like that. They get a little nervous. It's like, oh man, like. I gotta go get Tyler Bass. I gotta go get Harrison Butker. Like it happens.
You have to fill out your lineup by the end of the draft. So that's a good. I like that advice. That's a good tip.
Look, I've done it. I did it in the napkin. Okay, here's the deal. You don't have to fill out your roster. And when you talk about a kicker,
you don't have to on sleeper. But if you play in an ESPN league, unless somebody goes in and changes it, which they probably don't, you have to fill out your roster. If you're going to do it in Yahoo, like unless someone changes the settings, you have to do like fill out the roster. So it's just one of them things. Like if people are going to say, hey, I'm going to take Brandon Aubrey at the 11th round, and I can like you're talking about like players that are going to win you the league, not taking a kicker early and being able to get someone who puts up equal production, but get the players that you're talking about. That's what wins you leagues. So I stand on it.
Look, that's fine. For me, I mean, there's so many players that you can get late that, you know, you can get freaking the Texans kicker who was like, what, number 4 overall last year, and he'll probably still be there. His ADP is super low. Their offense is going to move the football. They also are in that realm of like, you know, high end. Shoot, I'll even go and take my guy for the Jaguars and give him a shot because I think Jacksonville's going to move the football this season, and he's good for 50 or from the 50 regularly. So I mean, I agree. And here's the thing, and this is where I think you're getting at. And Meatball said Aubrey went so early in a draft that I'm done tonight. I think he was like 12th or 13th round. There is the hype. Look, Fairborn is a weapon. Exactly. Texans. You know, there is a world where people are reaching. I've seen Aubrey go like 6 rounds before the end.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't do that.
Don't have to do that. Don't. And so I appreciate your point there.
I told y'all you were gonna laugh.
Yeah, but look, when you said that, I was expecting like a third, like you know, a wide receiver that nobody was thinking about, you know, or saying somehow Quentin Johnston and all the narratives are going to be true, and he's really going to be the truth this year.
I'm just saying.
I didn't expect the kicker, but you know, we got to good points through it. So I'm here. Kickers, what am I even doing here?
We got spam in the chat. We must have hit the bigs if we're getting spam in the chat.
Oh, I know. We got spam in the chat over on Twitch. Cheap viewers on streambo.com. Ooh.
I'm about to find my stream boo.
Use that code.
All right. So, you know, anybody, you know, Chris, do you have another one off top for you? And maybe we can kind of transition position a little bit.
There was a couple guys talking Rashard Smith, and I think that's a good choice. But I have another semi-dumb one that you might laugh at. Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic. I think right now there's no reason he should be going quite as late at the quarterback position. If you're like me and you just like to say, I'm done in redraft with drafting quarterbacks early, I want to load up on all the other positions and like stream or pick a late round guy. I think he's got an opportunity now to shine. He was the quarterback 9 in his only real good season, but that was also the last time we saw him complete a full season healthy. I saw today, I think Scott Barrett from Fantasy Points was talking about how he has never had higher than 27th ranked offensive line group or wide receiver group. And he's coming into a team now with a pretty good offensive line and a pretty good wide receiver core. And I think it's likely that even if he doesn't open the season as the starting quarterback, he's going to have an opportunity pretty early because Anthony Richardson just isn't that good. And he can run, man. This was, again, another Scott Barrett tweet today. He has the same amount of career games with greater than 90 rushing yards as both Michael Vick and Cam Newton. So he's always giving you that rushing floor, which is why he's, vanilla Vick. But I think he's a cheap option where why are you going after a Stafford or a Russell Wilson later in drafts when you can have that rushing floor that vanilla Vick's going to provide you?
Look, getting a little love in the chat. Binking said, Chris, it's actually interesting. I haven't heard Jones brought up a lot. He does have capable
those little nuances. That's how you win your league.
Look, it's true. Goyati says it's A-Rich season. He's still living in the world that A-Rich can make it through a whole seaon. For me, I'm scared.
He changed his diet. He ain't gonna get tired no more.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll see. With that guy, it's a to be determined, right? Like college, to be determined. He couldn't get his team over 500. You know what I mean? NFL can't stay on the field. Like the guy has played as many NFL or as many actual games as he should have in like maybe 2 years of college ball. Like he's not staying on the field, and that's the big thing. And I like the Daniel Jones take. I'm agreeing with Binkin. Goyati, stop eating Skittles. I ain't eating Skittles. I'm just not on A-Rich. If you've watched the show, I've been off of A-Rich. And that's just where I land. I love the Brashard Smith comment coming in. That was a good take. I'm going to add one to the table here. And it comes in tight end. It feels like this year, if you're not trying to get one of the top guys, you really punt to late. And there's like a slew of like these, regular, tight ends. And so, all season, one of my tight end sleepers is a rookie this year. And I know rookie tight ends don't have huge upside or don't usually come in big for us. But I'm really taking a lot of shares of Mason Taylor, especially in Dynasty. I don't hate him in redraft. I typically am a stream the tight end position if I don't have to grab somebody like a Kittle or something like that early. But, I mean, everything you read, Mason Taylor's getting all the first-team reps. Mason Taylor's looking better than anybody. He's over, and he doesn't have much competition, but he's miles ahead of Jeremy Ruckert. He's miles ahead of Stone Smart. And we know – based on the quarterback play there's going to be a lot of low dump-off type stuff, and I think it goes to him. I think we get a ton of Mason Taylor in a PPR or tight end premium dynamic. I'm grabbing them. I'm taking them late, and you're getting them late. You don't have to pay up for that tight end at all.
I think he scored a 25-yard touchdown in practice today. Somebody had shared a tweet about that. I don't think we saw a video, but he's been getting a little bit of love, especially in the last couple days.
I hope we get to see him in the preseason, but he was actually, and I know Tyler Warren had a huge highlight today, but Mason Taylor was my tight end target going into this season. I knew I was going to get him cheaper, kind of like a Laporta. You got Laporta in like third, fourth round of rookie drafts that year that he came in. To me, Mason Taylor was that guy, and I think that we're going to see huge things from him. I think he's a great pass catcher and just complete tight end, and that's what I kind of really look for. Goyai said they got rid of a solid tight end in Conklin too, so they obviously believe. And then Binking in there, that would actually help the entire Jets offense if Taylor can be productive, and I believe that he can. So there you go. There's one for me coming into the season. Still getting a lot of love on the Daniel Jones and that call on Mason Taylor. Ben, do you have anybody?
I have one. I have somebody I was going to bring up, and that was Cedric Tillman for the wide receiver position for the Cleveland Browns, right? He had 3 weeks where he basically was the wide receiver one, then goes down to injury, is out for most of the rest of the season. And then now we're kind of forgetting about him just because that whole quarterback room we don't really want to mess with. But he is the wide receiver one of that team. You can't sell me that Judy is the wide receiver one for the Browns. But I'm riding the Tillman season right now.
Yeah, we talked about him in our Trust Your Training episode with Chev on Debbie Dojo, and he was the fantasy player one for those 3 weeks. He had a bajillion points, and then he got hurt and The real question there is who's throwing him the ball, how good's the offense going to be, but he's an awesome stash for exactly that reason. He's got a chance to really thrust himself up rankings if he gets even a decent bit of opportunity and a slightly competent quarterback.
I think if Flacco starts the season, I think Tillman will get the love.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Pickett's going to start the season, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily a bad thing because he helped some good weeks out of Pickens in the past, right? So we'll see. Tillman, I love Tillman though, man. Great call.
Yeah, love the Tillman call. We saw flashes out of him. I think it's still Jerry Jeudy world over there too, but I think they're gonna run the football, and they traditionally run the football. They're good at running the football, and they've got we'll see if Judkins makes it back, but don't sleep on Dylan Sampson either. I promise you, he's a good ball player. Joe, you got one more to kind of close us out. A little bit of heat.
I got another kicker. No, I'm just kidding.
Defense, go.
All right. So I think for me, a guy that I've been really high on throughout the draft process this year is Michael Pittman Jr. There's been a lot of hype about fancy stats for Josh Downs, but at the end of the day, like, to be honest, like GMs, coaches, like they don't care. It's like they're going to go and feed their guys. And if you're looking at like, oh, like what were Michael Pittman's metrics last year? Like dude was playing with a broken back. He still had 100 and some odd targets. And it's like, I appreciate that Downs is a good player. I'm not trying to discount him from like an ability perspective whatsoever. But when Pittman was out, if we think that Josh Downs is going to step up in the way that he does, why didn't Josh Downs take the outside snaps when Pittman was hurt? All of those snaps went to Adonai Mitchell. So it's like if you're thinking that Josh Downs is going to overcome Pittman, who's been their alpha for these past few years, if Pittman's healthy, they're both getting drafted around the same time. I feel a lot more comfortable in seeing what Pittman has done already than trying to project something that Josh Downs isn't necessarily for that offense. Could I like eat crow on that one? For sure. But like, I think a lot of times people see like these advanced analytics, and it's at the end of the day, like there's plenty of players that don't necessarily have the greatest like fancy stats, but they pass the eye test. They do the things that keep them on the field. And I really think that Pittman Jr. is one of those players who you're getting at a major discount to injury. And I think there's quite a few players that are like that in the draft this year that you can really capitalize on. I think Jalen Waddle and Chris Olave both fit into that kind of framework as well. So sign me up all the way for Michael Pittman Jr. Big fan.
You got Meatball in the chat. If Daniel Jones starts, Pittman will be a wide receiver 2 this year. And Binking said, I really like Pittman Jr. I think he's kind of sacrificed to help Downs sort of develop a role, add dimensions to the offense. Look, and then look, even Goyati saying, and me and Joe Frick just became best friends. Look, I like the Pittman call. You look at Pittman, he's had 2 finishes out of 5 seasons inside the top 15. And then he had in PPR, and he's had another one inside the top 25, but he doesn't get treated that way, right? Like he's one of those like players that just consistently falls kind of like your Jacoby Myers, except he finished better than Jacoby Myers in his career overall, on average. And so, I'm in. I think that he's a cheap buy. He's somebody that I've targeted late. So love that call, Joe. If you're still tuned into the show, we added a join function to our YouTube channel. Make sure you go check that out. If you join, subscribe, support the channel, support what we do. We'll do some exclusive content for you, and we have some cool emojis and everything else that we're going to add to the channel. Just the way that you can continue to support all these great creators that we bring in here. And so if you love us, click that join button. You'll get notifications on our shows. And I need at least 2 people to join so that I can add some more dope emojis. I'm trying to get some today I added the penalty marker. So like when you make a bad call, they could throw the penalty flag on you.
That's amazing.
Freaking love it. I added the GOAT emoji. I added beers for cheers and an FFAN logo, but I've got a couple other doozies that I really want to get in there.
Tyler has his face ready to go. It's just gonna be like the intro of the show.
Who knows? But yeah, so if you love us, if you love the show, click the join button. We much appreciate it. There's 3 different levels. Whatever level of support you want to provide, we're grateful for. If you just do the level 1, then you get access to the emojis and the interactions. And we'll always prioritize your stuff. Binking, appreciate you popping in the chat. Good luck. Y'all keep grinding. We are here for the grind. And guys, the preseason has officially arrived.
God bless. I can't watch no more baseball.
Great show. If you could real quick, just let the crew know where they can find you, whether it be social media or if you have a show specifically that they need to check out. Joe, you're always here, so we'll go to Ben and then to Chris. Ben, let them know where they can find your content.
Absolutely. You can find us at the Dynasty Gambit with my co-host Austin. You can find me on X at Dynasty Big Mac FF. And then just honestly tune into all our stuff. DM me, whatever. I can get you connected.
Awesome. Chris?
Yeah, you can find me on the Devi Dojo on our Grindhouse YouTube channel and anywhere that you find podcasts. In our YouTube descriptions, there's links to our Discord where we are always talking Devi and talking all sorts of ball with our fans. And as you can see in the corner there, I am at Chris the Cardman on Twitter.
Hey, appreciate you guys always being here for us. It's every week, 9 o'clock Central from the forum. Joe, looking forward to playing some golf with you next week, buddy.
Hey, man, you can find me at George's. If you need a beer, if you need a drink, if you need a friend, come find me. We'll have a great time at the expo. And, yeah, let's get after it. Me and Tyler are going to have a 18 under next week.
Oh, man, that's the dream, right? I'm glad it's a scramble. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you next week from the forum, 9 o'clock Central. Appreciate you. Out.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.